welcome to Classic Advice. My name is Scarlett Classic, and I am so happy that you could join me today. So, this week I thought we would talk about survival mode. So, some steps in getting out of it and staying out of it are as follows: acknowledging that you're in it, right? Self care, processing your emotions, that one's a big one. Healthy coping techniques like talking, journaling, getting some sun, exercising, and eating healthy. So let's unwrap all of those a little bit deeper. So acknowledging that you're in it. For me, I was in it for decades and didn't even know. My psychologist was the one that told me. And wow, like I'm so grateful that I decided to go to therapy because, well, my depression was quite bad, and I just so grateful to my psychologist, Peter. And Peter, if you're listening, you're wonderful, and I am forever grateful to you. I didn't realize how bad it was. So I lived abroad for many years, and it was just this cycle of being told over and over and over again that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't accepted for who I was as a person, that I had to change and be their version of what a woman should act, dress like, and be. I'll never forget this. I'm Canadian, and over in Romania, I mean, they get snow, but not a whole lot of it. And it snowed. We got a big dump, and I was like, "Oh, can I go shovel the deck?" And I got this look like I was nuts. And I mean, some of you Canadians might be looking at me like that too. Like, why would you ever? I missed it. Like, wait, you don't realize what you're going to miss until you don't have it anymore. But yeah, I was like, snow, I want to go shovel. And they made me feel like I was like not stupid, but I can't even describe that. I'm not finding the right word, but they looked at me like I was crazy. Like, why? And then I got told that's a man's job, which is nuts, because I did a lot of things that were very physically hard or dirty, but this is designated as a man's job, so I shouldn't want to do it, and I shouldn't do it. And I was like, whatever, I'm going to go do it anyway. I'm going to go shovel the deck. You guys can sit on your butts. I don't know. It was, and it's little things like that, and some other things. When I was talking to my therapist, I would yada, 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 and I'd say a bunch of stuff that I didn't think was that big, leading up to the actual what I thought was big, and he would go, whoa, 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 let's stop, rewind a little bit, and let's acknowledge the fact that this that was said to you, that is not okay. And wow, is that ever painful. Let's just acknowledge that. And when I was sitting in therapy, I was looking at him like, what? That happens to me all the time. That's said to me. I'm being told that all the time on a daily basis, like multiple times a day. What? And then it started to dawn on me exactly how poorly I was being treated. But he had to point it out to me because I wasn't able to see it. It's like when you're that that third person in a group, and you're sitting on the outside watching these two people interact, and you can pick up on things because you're not in the conversation. You're that third person, and so you can see things from the outside. And sometimes it's really hard to see it when you're in it, especially when you get told that all the time. And you maybe didn't even grow up that way, but for whatever reason, you find yourself in this situation now, and it maybe didn't start out really, really bad. Maybe it was a gradual thing. And it just slowly and slowly got worse and worse and worse until you're so far gone, and it's like, now it's really bad. But because it was so gradual, because it was just all that you were used to, maybe you were raised that way, it's your normal. And you don't know. So somebody points it out to you. So that's why I tell everybody, I'm a believer in therapy, even if you think you don't need it, because you don't know what you don't know, right? You just don't know what you don't know. So it's that acknowledging the fact that it's not okay that you're in it. That's huge. You don't know there's a problem, you can't fix the problem, right? And eventually it might manifest in a way that's different, because like for me, I wasn't processing my emotions. My therapist was like, you need to process this stuff. You weren't even aware it was a problem. Now you know it's a problem. And I got angry. I got angry because how dare they treat me like this? How dare they use me? How dare they? What did I do to them? Nothing. I didn't do anything. But I wasn't the way to them. I wasn't the way that they wanted me to be. I didn't fit in their mold. I was a square being shoved into a triangle hole. It ain't gonna fit. And I mean, this is kind of leading into the culture shock, which I'm going to do a whole other episode about that. But I didn't fit in the mold that they wanted me to be in. It wasn't me. I tried to change to be what they wanted me to be, but then I wasn't being true to myself. And that picture that they wanted me to be, I guess, is what I did to them. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. But for whatever reason, I was being treated this way for years. And then when it got pointed out to me that it wasn't right, that it wasn't okay, I got angry. And then I had to learn how to deal with my anger because I was like, how dare they treat me like this for so many years, for decades. And I started to believe them. I talked to Dave this morning, from Dave Campbell from the How to Podcast series, and he has lots of podcasts, but I talked with him this morning. Hi, Dave. It was awesome. And one of the things that we had touched on was I thanked him because so many times over and over and over in his How to Podcast series, he just repeats, you can do this. You have a story and it deserves to be told, and only you can tell it. And he said that over and over and over and over again. And then I started to believe him. And now here I am making a podcast. So it worked. But it goes the same for the negative. If you hear negative things over and over and over again, at the beginning, you may believe that they're not true. But then over time, you start to believe it. And it just breaks my heart because you don't deserve to be treated poorly. You deserve your voice to be heard. Everybody deserves to be treated with kindness and love and respect. We don't all need to like each other. We don't all need to agree on things. But we do deserve respect. We do deserve love. We do deserve to live life to the fullest and be treated kindly. So, acknowledging that you're in it. When survival mode is the way that it was described to me, because I'm not a licensed therapist, I'm just little old me over here. The way that it was described to me was that it's like a chronic state of stress and being thrown into that flight, fight, or freeze response. And not when you're in that state, your physiological body will change. Your stress hormones are through the roof and whatnot. I'm not going to go too deep in that because I'm not a professional in that, but that's the way that it was described to me. So when you're in that state, you're not processing your emotions. And for me, because I was in that state for decades, there was so much that I didn't deal with, that I didn't process, that I didn't let myself feel. A good portion of it was because I didn't see anything wrong with the way that I was being treated, because it was my normal. I was just so used to be treated poorly that it was just expected, which is so sad. Like I said, if you don't know there's a problem, you can't fix the problem. Acknowledging that you're in it. Moving on. So you've acknowledged that you're in it. Now you want to deal with it. How do we deal with it? How do we get out of it? How do we not just sit there for decades like me? Because you don't want to do that, believe me. Next is self-care. So learning to make yourself a priority. And as a wife and as a mother, society tells us that we have to put ourselves last, doesn't it? And there's so much to do. My youngest started grade 1 this year, and holy, my middle son moved back in with me over the summer. He's in grade 5. So I have a grade 1er, a grade 5er, and it's busy. Life is busy. I have dogs. There's just so much to do. There's a household to take care of. My husband works 12-hour days, 12 days in a row, with only every second weekend off. Life is busy. There's yard work, there's kids, there's lunches. I could go on and on and on about how much there is to do as a wife and a mother. And then you put yourself last, and we need, and I say we because I'm talking just as much to myself here. We need to prioritize ourselves. I try to give myself that time, and it's okay to give myself that time. And it's even healthy for your kids to see you setting those boundaries and being like, no, mom needs her time. This is mom's time. You go play. I played with you. I'm not ignoring my kids, but I need to give myself some time too. And it does get better as they get older, because when they're infants, it's like they need you round the clock. It never stops. And now as my boys are getting older, they're going off and doing their own thing. And you know what? If you have a house or an acreage, there's always going to be something to do. So at some point in the day, you need to say, pause. Me time. Me time. Scarlet time. Dave time. Tamsin time. JJ time. Time for me. Time for you. One of the things that I do is I'm an avid reader. I love reading. Love it. And I try, now it doesn't happen every day, but I try to go to my room by around 8:30, 9 at night. And then I say to the boys, okay, it's reading time. You guys go read. I'm going to read. This is my me time. And sometimes they want to hang out with me, and we have a king size bed, so the boys will sit on the bed with me. So we're together, but we're having our me time. Maybe I'm journaling while they sit and read, right? The other thing that's very helpful, I'm a morning person. Well, I wasn't always a morning person. I think I'm becoming a morning person. I like getting up at 5 or 5:30. This morning I got up at 4:30 because I made a baked turkey. So it was even an earlier day. But it's just that morning when nobody else is up, the house is quiet, quiet, quiet. Dogs are asleep. Everybody's asleep. It's so peaceful. I would love to be able to do my podcast recordings in that time, but I think I would wake everybody up. But anyways, it's nice because then I get even that time in the morning before I even have to start my day. And it has changed my how do I word this? It has changed my days for the better astronomically, because I get my me time in the morning and I get my me time right before bed. So beginning and end of each day, I'm dedicating some time to myself, for me. And yes, it's okay for you to be selfish. It's okay for you to be selfish. You're allowed to have your you time. You're allowed. I give you permission. I'm giving you the permission right now. You are allowed to take time for yourself. So that's self-care. Okay, it's important, guys. Take care of yourself. Take that time for you. Moving on. Processing your emotions. Processing my emotions. I didn't even know. I was like my therapist was like, you need to process your emotions. And I had like decades worth of process because I just stuffed everything down. And I was like, how do I even do that? And really, processing your emotions is just letting yourself feel them. Let yourself feel the bad stuff. And I talk about that in my anger management, my very first episode, about letting yourself feel it. And it's uncomfortable and it's icky and it's gross and you're not going to like it. I don't like it. I'd rather just be happy. But you got to process the trauma. Otherwise, it'll stick with you. And it'll manifest its way. It'll come out in other ways. Let yourself feel. And I do find it easier now that I've got into the practice of doing this, of letting myself feel, because like I'm going through something right now, and it's going to be something I'm going to go through for many a year. It's not going away anytime soon. I gotta let myself feel when that grief comes in waves, doesn't it? And one day I'll be perfectly fine, and then the next day it'll hit me, and I'll think about it, and it just, the pain inside, and it's emotional, so it's not like you can just have surgery and get it fixed. Let yourself feel. Some people really find it helps when they talk to somebody about what they're going through. I know I'm like that, and therapy is a lot like that. You're talking about what you're going through. And ladies, men, if you're talking to your spouse about this, or your brother, or whatever, and men are fixers typically. We're not all the same, but typically men are fixers. So if you come to them with a problem, they're going to spit out a solution at you. So with Roy, my husband, when I need to vent or talk to him about how I'm feeling, I will go and I will say, "Hun, I'm feeling really down right now. I just need to talk. I just need you to listen. You don't need to fix nothing. I just need to talk." And he'll go, "Okay." And I'll talk. And then I'll be done. I'll be like, "Okay, I'm done now." And then sometimes he'll give me maybe some advice. And other times we just move on with our night. And if you don't have anyone to talk to, well, you do now. Because I will listen. I will listen for as long as you need me to listen. I know what it's like to feel alone, like you have no one that gets you, like you are alone. You are now not alone. You're not alone. I'm here for you. I'll be your friend. I'll listen. I might not know how to help you. I don't have all the answers. I'm no professional. I'm not licensed in nothing. But I can listen. I got 2 ears. Well, I'm half deaf actually. But I'll listen with my good ear. 100%. I will read your emails. And like I said in my bonus episode, when you write me an email, I will acknowledge the fact that you've written me an email, but I'm not going to read your email out. But I will give you a shout out, and we'll all be here to support you. Okay? So you're no longer alone. You got me. Okay? So, and then kind of parallel with talking is journaling, which I've talked about in almost every episode now, I think. It's a great tool, writing stuff down. I find it's a very useful tool for me. It might not be the tool for everybody, but write down your feelings. Write down how you're feeling about the day. Not necessarily, "Oh, I went to Walmart, and then I went to Costco, and then I went to," oh, that would be an expensive day, "and then I went to yada yada." No, like how you're feeling. "Oh, this coworker of mine just stole my idea, and the boss loved it, and he got a raise. It was my idea." Well, that's really crummy. Write your feelings. Write them down. Get them out. You gotta let it out. This whole thing. Let it out. Let it go. Let it go. I'm not the best singer. Sorry. Next, we've got, getting some sun. I love this one. I live in Alberta, so getting some sun in January and February is extremely difficult, even December sometimes. We don't get a lot of daylight hours in those months. Like the sun, it's dark by 4 o'clock where I am. And that January and February every year is hard for me. My mood is just meh. Every year. I can like count on it. So the sun really does affect your mood. And you can get those little like sun lights where you can plug them in your wall and it's like that daylight. I've never bought one, but I've heard that they sometimes work for people. But I like being outside. I love walking, hiking, anything. I even enjoy cutting the grass just because I'm outside. When I had rabbits, I enjoyed cleaning the barn. My barn was typically cleaner than my house because I like just being outside. You're a country bumpkin when. But the sun will help your mood. I was outside this morning sitting in the sun as the dogs were running around playing, and it was so nice outside this morning. Actually, I'm sitting in my room, the window's open. Oh, it's so nice. It's not freezing outside. It's actually still daylight and it's 7 o'clock. Pretty nice. So getting some sun, exercising. This also releases those happy hormones in your brain when you exercise. And you can do whatever you want to do. There's Pilates, there's yoga, there's walking, there's hiking, there's biking. What else? There's lifting weights. There's all those fancy elliptical machines. There's row machines. There's the options are endless. Whatever you want to do, try something out. See, for me, I like walking. I love hiking in the summer. I'll take the kids. We'll go somewhere so we get some different scenery. And it got to the point where I started speed walking at night. And then I upped it to jogging. And I was doing 5 kilometers in an hour every day. And then I tripped down my porch steps and I broke my ankle. It wasn't even when I was exercising. So now it's a little trickier for me to exercise. But I do my squats. I do these little I think they're called calf raises. I lift weights. I walk as much as I can because that's how I'm going to get better. I basically sprained my ankle so bad that I broke a bone in my foot is what happened. And sprains, they take time to heal. So it's just a matter of time, but I'm trying to do as much as I can with what I got. Yeah. It is what it is. I'll get better. The other thing, real quick, before we wrap this up, because I realize we're already at 30 minutes, is eating healthy. And I know it's hard, you guys, because typically, at least where I live, it costs more to eat healthy than it does to eat unhealthy. But you will notice a difference. I know I notice a difference when I eat something really healthy. I feel better than when I eat, half a bag of chips or something. So I try my best to limit the amount of unhealthy foods to the healthy foods. And a little trick that I use is if I don't buy it and have it in my pantry, I won't eat it. So I will buy chips because I love salt and vinegar chips. They're like my favorite. But I try not to buy them often, I guess you could say. So typically I'll save them for weekends and not every weekend. So if I had them last weekend, I won't have them this weekend. And just moderate it like that. And I mean, it's a little easier for me because I'm not in a big city, so we don't have skip the dishes or anything like that. It's not like I can just, I'm craving McDonald's fries. I'll just go on my phone and order it. It is handy that way living out in the boonies. Now, I'm not telling you have to go move out into the country so you eliminate that option for yourself. But if that's a point of weakness for you, then maybe delete the app. Or tell yourself, no, weekends are my skip the dishes, and I'm not allowed it Monday to Friday. And just limit yourself that way. And then if you want to cut it down even more, like, wean yourself off, so to speak, if that's your point of weakness. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. So that's really all that I have for you guys today. I would love to hear from you guys. It makes my day whenever I get an email. I will be bouncing up and down in my chair when I see that I have one. And if you have something that you would like to talk about on the show, like if you're thinking, I wonder if she has any advice on grief or any advice on, I don't know, whatever. It could be whatever. Throw it in there. And I may have something of use, or I may not, because I don't know everything. I'm not perfect, but I will definitely do my best. That I can promise. So yeah, I would love to hear from you guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. And thank you so much for your email, JJ and Dave and Tamsin. I really appreciated hearing from you guys. It was so awesome and lovely to hear from you. I hope you're all doing well. Have an awesome week, you guys. And we will catch you next time. Bye.